Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're peeling back the layers on the people who are, right now, building our AI future. Thanks to a brand new report, we get this incredible inside look at who they are, what they're building, and exactly how they're doing it. So, let's kick things off with what even created this field in the first place. Okay, just look at this graph. Before late 2022, you almost never heard the term AI engineering. It just wasn't a thing. Then ChatGPT launched, and interest didn't just grow, it went completely vertical. And as you can see, it hasn't come back down. This wasn't some flash in the pan, it was the birth of a whole new industry.
So that begs the question, right? Who are these people? Who are the actual builders on the ground floor of this massive boom?
And that brings us to our first section, the new AI engineer. We're going to dive into what they call themselves, what they actually do, and a really surprising fact about how much experience they have, or don't have. So if you survey 500 of these builders, software engineer or AI engineer is the biggest slice of the pie. But that's just scratching the surface. You've got researchers, you've got founders, even VCs, all getting their hands dirty and actually building stuff. And this really gets to a bigger truth. As Bar Yarn from Amplify Partners, who presented all this research, said, titles are weird right now. What's on your LinkedIn profile in the world of AI probably doesn't tell the whole story of what you do every day. Now, get this. This is a fascinating paradox. We're looking at really seasoned developers, people with more than a decade of experience. But almost half of them are total newbies to AI, with less than 3 years in the field. And even crazier, 1 in 10 of those veterans just got started in the last year. It just goes to show, in AI, everyone's kind of new. Okay, so we've got a handle on who these builders are, but what are they actually making? Let's take a look inside the modern AI toolkit. Well, when you look at the engines powering the apps we're all starting to use, it's pretty clear there's one giant in the room. For any product that you or I would actually interact with, a full 3 out of the top 5 models come from one place, OpenAI. And what are they building with these things? Well, the top use cases are probably what you'd guess. Tools to help write code, writing assistants, stuff to generate marketing copy. But that's not really the interesting part of the story. The real story is just how many different things people are building. A massive 94% of developers who are using large language models aren't just using them for one thing. They're applying them to at least 2 completely different problems. And it just builds from there. A full 82% are juggling 3 or more different use cases. The big takeaway here is that once a team gets a taste of AI, they start seeing ways to use it absolutely everywhere. So if you're using AI for everything, that leads to a huge question. How do you manage it all? Well, the answer seems to be this constant, incredibly fast-paced cycle of updating, prompting, and tuning. Basically, there are 2 main ways to customize these big AI models. The most popular one, used by about 70% of folks, is called RAG. The best way to think about it is like giving the AI an open book exam. It can look up new information to answer your question. The other method, fine-tuning, is more like sending the AI to a super specialized school to become an expert in one tiny thing. It's less common, but researchers really love it. And the speed of all this is just relentless. More than half of all builders are swapping out their main AI model at least once a month. But the prompts, the actual instructions they give the AI, are changing even faster. 70% update those at least monthly. And here's the kicker. 1 in 10 developers are tweaking their prompts every single day. All right, so that's the picture of today. But what about tomorrow? Let's pivot and look at where this whole world is heading next. And 2 things really stand out: agents and audio. Right now, we've got what's called a multimodal production gap. Basically, text is king. Everybody's using it. Image and video, way behind. But now look at that last row. Audio. Its use today is super low, but its plan to adopt score, it's the highest on the chart. That's a massive signal about what's coming. And to really hammer this point home, among the teams that are not using audio today, more than 1/3 of them are planning to start using it very soon. So get ready for a huge audio wave in the apps and services you use every day. Now let's talk about AI agents, those systems that can actually do things for you. And here we hit a really weird paradox. Ask an engineer if standard language models are working well, and a full 80% say yes. But then ask them about agents, and less than 20% say the same. The hype is huge, but the performance, it just isn't there. Yet.
Okay, for our last section, let's bring it all back to the humans. We're going to look at their single biggest frustration, and then some of their truly wild predictions for the rest of us.
So I want you to guess, what's the single most painful part of building with AI? Is it the cost? Is it trying to keep up with all the new models? Is it a lack of good ideas? Nope. The number one challenge, the biggest headache, is
Evaluation. Just one word, but it's a massive problem. According to the people building this stuff, the absolute hardest part of their job is just knowing if the AI is working. Is it good? Is it right? Is it safe? Figuring that out is the central challenge in AI today.
All right, let's shift gears from the struggles of today to some pretty wild predictions about tomorrow. The survey asked a pretty provocative question. What percentage of Gen Z in the US will end up having an AI boyfriend or girlfriend?
the average guess from these engineers, 26%, more than a quarter. That is a pretty stunning forecast coming straight from the people who are building this technology.
Which, might just give us a whole new breakup line for the future. It's not you, it's my algorithm.
And they had a few other quick predictions too. Most of them believe that AI agents should have to tell you they're an AI. Most of them think the core transformer architecture is here to stay and will still be dominant in 2030. And finally, most of them expect that the gap between open and closed source models to basically disappear over time.
And that really brings us full circle. Because if the number one challenge for the experts, the people who live and breathe this stuff, is just knowing if the AI's answer is any good, then the final question is really for all of us. As this tech gets woven deeper into our daily lives, how are we going to know if it's getting the answers right?